Hi, I'm Patrick from Rambo Bikes. Today I'm going to show you how to make adjustments on your derailleur of your R1000 XP. This is a little bit more of an advanced adjustment, so if you are a little bit more of a novice to any wrench work or working on a bike, I would recommend either giving me a call or taking it to your local bike shop before you start playing with the screws on here. Alright, you always want to remember to remove your battery whenever doing any work on your Rambo bike, especially if that work is on the drivetrain. Alright, first thing you want to do is tighten this barrel adjuster here that goes to your shifter. You want to tighten that all the way down to the right. That is just to give this all the slack that it needs. So to make these adjustments to your derailleur, you will need a stand or some way to lift your back tire off the ground because you will be needing to pedal while you work on the shifter here. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you are in your high gear, which is the smallest sprocket here. You do that by turning the wheel and shifting it all the way down, which would be the 11th gear on this bike. All right, so this cable here, this is your tension. This is what shows how far to shift. So right now we're going to set the limits, which is how far the derailleur can move to the inside and outside of the bike. So we want to make sure tension is not a factor in setting limits. So we're going to actually take the tension off by loosening this bolt, letting this cable here just hang free. So these are your high and low limits. These two little screws here, I believe it is a 3mm Allen key. You will need to make the adjustments on these. First way to check your high limit is, since we got no tension on here, you just want to spin the wheel and make sure that the chain line running from the smallest sprocket here goes in a straight line down to this little gear down here. To make the adjustments to your high limit, that is this screw here on the left. If you can see, you can even just watch it. If you turn this to the left, it brings the derailleur outboard. And if you turn this to the right, this actually starts moving this chain line here inboard. And again, you want to make sure this is a straight line from the small sprocket to the first gear there of your derailleur. Alright, so once we've got our high limit set, so this part's already good to go, we're going to work on our low limit, which is the same thing. It controls how far inboard and outboard the derailleur can move on this first gear here. So the way to test this, again, you want to make sure you have no tension on here, and you just grab the derailleur right here where it bends. You're going to want to turn the wheel and actually make this shift just by hand. And you can see, when pushing it all the way, the chain falls behind all the gears back there. So, since that chain is falling behind, we have to bring the low limit outboard. So to do that, using your low limit screw here, you'll actually tighten that, turn it to the right to bring it outboard. It's the opposite of the high limit. You can always just think of it as tightening limits the range. If you tighten the high limit, we'll bring it in this way. And if you tighten the low limit, we'll bring it in this way. So it just limits the range of the derailleur. So since we tightened that just a little bit, you just got to test it again. You can see now it's staying on that first ring there. And you just do it again just for another test. Push it as far back as you can. And it stays there. So we know our limits are now set. Our high and low limit won't allow the chain to fall off of the freewheel here. So now we're going to want to add tension back to our derailleur. So we're going to want to bolt this cable back down. You want to twist it around this little bolt here. You want to give it a decent amount of tension. You want to be pulling pretty tight here. And you tighten it back down. So that is clamped down. Alright, so to check the tension, you're basically just going to test the shifting here. So to do that, you're going to spin the wheel and then just go one gear at a time. You can see I went one click there and nothing happened. So that means we're going to need more tension. So to add more tension, This barrel adjuster that we used here earlier, you turn this to the left to add more tension to the derailleur. And this is all small movement, so I just turned it about 1 full turn. Then we test it again, see if the one gear, it goes into that one, no problem. So you go to the next one, same thing. And you shift it just fine into that next gear. And you do this all the way up, and each time it sticks. So there, for example, takes it just a second to go back into that gear. You want to add just a slight bit more tension. I just did about a quarter of a turn there. And you want to keep going all the way up to gear 1. You can see when it makes that noise a little bit, that grinding, it means it's sticking a little bit. So again, just add a slight bit more tension. And there you can see it goes all the way into gear 1. I also check it coming back down. If the shifting sticks anyway coming back down, that means you have too much tension. So you just turn the dial back the opposite way, turn it to the right. So you just test it here, just 1 gear at a time again. Shifting fine. All the way down where you're good. All right, so when you're testing your gears, going from high to low, making sure the tension is correct. The other thing you might run into would be the chain skipping a gear. So right now we're in gear 7. It's possible that when you click it just once, the shifter just once, it could go all the way up to gear 5. When it does something like that, that means you have too much tension on your barrel adjuster up by your handlebar. So then you just turn it to the right, take off some of that tension, test them again. All right, and that was how to make adjustments to your derailleur on your R1000 XP. If you have any more questions, you go to rambobikes.com or give our office a call at 952-283-0777. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks.